Have you ever felt like no matter what you do, it's never enough for your family? That the weight of their expectations is crushing your own dreams, identity, and peace of mind? You're not alone. In many families, love and pressure often come in the same package. Parents want the best for us, but sometimes their vision of best doesn't align with who we truly are. Let's explore how parental expectations, when pushed too far, can silently damage mental health, lower self-esteem, and shape life choices in ways we don't even realize. And break the silence around this unspoken pressure, and learn how to heal, grow, and reclaim your own path. Let's be clear, not all parental expectations are harmful. In many cases, they're rooted in love, concern, and a desire to see us succeed. A healthy amount of expectation can give us structure, discipline, and motivation. It helps us set goals, stay focused, and push ourselves. But the problem begins when these expectations stop being about support and start becoming a form of control. Let's look at the difference. Positive expectations sound like, do your best, we believe in you. Explore your interests, we'll support your growth. Mistakes happen, it's part of learning. These encourage effort, not just results. They respect your individuality. Negative expectations sound like, why can't you be like your cousin? You must become a doctor, no questions. If you don't succeed, you'll bring shame to the family. These are conditional. They say, you're only worthy if you meet our standards. And this kind of pressure, it doesn't build character. It slowly breaks it down. So what happens when expectations turn into pressure? When every decision starts feeling like a test and love feels tied to achievement? Over time, this silent pressure can deeply affect your mental health. And the worst part? Most of us don't even realize it's happening until we're already drowning in it. You start living in a constant state of, what if I fail? What if I don't get top marks? What if I disappoint them again? This fear doesn't just affect your confidence, it affects your sleep, focus, and ability to enjoy life. When love feels conditional, you start to wonder, am I only valuable when I succeed? That question leads to a deep sadness, numbness, and emotional exhaustion, especially when you're trying your best and still being told it's not enough. Even when you want to chase your own dreams, there's guilt. You feel torn between your happiness and your parents' approval. This internal conflict keeps you stuck in a life that doesn't feel like yours. When you're constantly told who to be, what to do, and how to live, you stop knowing who you really are. Your self-worth becomes tangled in someone else's expectations. You become a version of yourself created to avoid judgment, not to feel joy. The pressure to be perfect doesn't create strong children. It creates anxious adults who feel like imposters in their own lives. Now let's talk about something that often gets quietly destroyed by pressure. Your self-esteem, that inner voice that tells you, I am good enough, just as I am. Parental expectations, when constant and critical, can silence that voice completely. You're only measured by success. Your worth becomes a scoreboard. Good marks, you're loved. Failure, silence, anger, and worse, disappointment. You start to believe, if I don't succeed, I don't deserve love. That belief, it buries your confidence deep under fear and shame. Constant comparison kills confidence. Look at your cousins. Why can't you be like them? Your siblings did it. What's wrong with you? These comparisons feel like tiny cuts. Eventually, they bleed into a belief that you'll never be good enough, no matter what you do. Seeking validation becomes your habit. You stop asking, do I like this? And instead always think, will they approve of this or not? This habit can follow you into adulthood, constantly needing external validation to feel okay. You always have fear of being too different. You hide part of yourself, your dreams, your opinion, your identity, because being your true self might mean rejection. So instead, you play it safe. You shrink. Low self-esteem isn't just about how you see yourself. It's about how much of yourself you're allowed to be. And parental pressure, it often builds a cage while calling it love. One of the deepest wounds caused by parental pressure isn't just emotional, it's personal. It's a quiet loss of autonomy and identity. First of all, choices stop feeling like yours. From what you study, to who you marry, to where you live, you start making decisions based on what will avoid conflict, not what brings you peace. So you stay small, not because you lack ambitions, but because you fear abandonment. But in doing so, you start to lose connection with your real self. Your autonomy isn't just denied, it's punished. Parental pressure, doesn't end when childhood ends. It echoes and can follow us silently for years, sometimes decades, because it doesn't just shape how we feel, it shapes who we become and the lives we build. Your career path chosen from fear, not passion. You might end up in a job that looks stable and respectable, but feels empty. Why? Because it wasn't your dream. It was your parents' backup plan for you. You choose safe over satisfaction. And years later, that choice can become a quiet regret you carry to work every day. Relationships are built on approval seeking. If you have been trained to chase approval, you might pick partners who repeat the same patterns: controlling, emotionally distant, or conditional with love. You confuse stability with acceptance and lose the ability to ask, do I feel truly seen here? When your early choices were controlled, your adult ones may be too. You hesitate to switch careers, move cities, start a business, or even say no, because deep down, you have been conditioned to play it safe, even if it feels suffocating. Your idea stays in the notebook. Your dream stays in daydreams. You shrink even though something inside you is screaming to grow. And here's the harsh truth. Some people wake up at 30, 40, even 60, and realize they have built a life based on someone else's definition of success. They followed all the rules and still feel empty. But it's never too late to stop and ask whose life I am living, and is it still mine to reclaim? Here's the good news. Your story isn't over. Even if parental pressure has shaped your past, it doesn't have to define your future. Healing begins the moment you realize you are allowed to choose yourself. Name the pattern. Start by acknowledging what happened. Say it out loud or write it down. I was pressured to be someone I'm not. Awareness is the first form of freedom. Once you name the pattern, it starts losing its control over you. Ask, what do I want? Strip away the noise. Forget the expectations. Ask yourself honestly, what excites me? What kind of life do I want to build? What values matter to me? Even if the answers are blurry at first, it's okay. That's what rediscovery feels like. Set emotional boundaries. This doesn't mean cutting off your family. It means not letting their fear, guilt, or disappointment control your choices. You can love your parents and still say, this is not right for me. Seek safe spaces. Healing is hard alone. Find support, whether it's therapy, close friends, a journal, or an online community. You deserve to be heard by people who don't silence your truth. To the parents watching, your love is powerful. But when love comes with pressure, it can hurt more than help. Support doesn't mean shaping your child's path. It means walking beside them as they find their own. And here's the twist. Your children are trying. They watch motivational content, hoping to become what you expect. But those quick dopamine hits, they often leave them feeling worse, not better. If you want to understand why motivation sometimes backfires and silently fuels failure, watch this next video.